at ActOutGames.com here, and today is Craft Monday, and we are going to be adding a new thing to the Crash Course timeline. So I just watched the Crash Course video on the Greco-Persian Wars. So it ran from roughly 500 BC to 450 BC. So we drew a little box right here, and now we're gonna tape it up. And then we bought some Persian violet, which should tie in nicely with the colors that we already have. So yeah, let's tape it up. Sticking to me. Okay, so we added the tape, and now we're just going to paint over this little area. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about the episode. There'll be a link in the doobly-doo to the Persian War episode. And one of my favorite things about Crash Course is it really makes you think, not sink. And it's really interesting because it talks about whether the Persians should have won. And it's a really interesting take on histories written by the winners, which is a saying that means that the winners of a war always write history about it, and it's like, oh, it's really great that we won this war, because they never write, oh no, it's so terrible that we won the war. So maybe it wasn't a good thing that that the Greeks won the war, and it might just be cultural bias, but it makes you think whether it was a good thing that the Greeks won the war and whether the Persians should have won or not. So there'll be a link in the doobly-doo to that. So now let's paint.
Bottom up a little bit.
What? Okay, so every time we put a new thing on the timeline, we usually try and put a little drawing or icon to represent what happened, and this one was an easy choice because it was the thing that John Green put on the chalkboard behind him. And this is from the Battle of Thermopylae, which was where the Spartans used their knowledge of their terrain and stuff to slow down a huge giant Persian army to let the Greek army prepare and eventually win. So this is what was on the chalkboard. This is a rough sketch I did a few minutes ago. So now I'm going to draw that on my timeline, and you also might know the Greco-Persian War because it's from the movie 300, and which has the famous scene, "This is Sparta." So we are going to be drawing this, and I think that it's a pretty cool moment in history. So let us draw. And then we're going to draw. Then we're going to outline it in Sharpie, and by then it's probably time to add the second coat of this paint. We haven't decided whether we're gonna shade it in or if we're just gonna leave them as lines for now. But now we're going to add one more shade of paint on the Persian violet, which is a really nice color, and it reminds me of one of my characters. Her name is actually Lavender. So it reminds me of her, and I really like that color. And also another cool thing about having the timeline, if you just look over here, is there is a TARDIS on the timeline that marks where the Doctor has gone in history. So this one is Pompeii. So having all of these things like the John Green and the Doctor Who all shows how everything just starts to line up together, and it's all really, really awesome. This is it. We just took off the tape, and these are stick figures. We erased most of the pencil. So now it looks pretty good, and we also shaded in the circle. We're definitely going to do some cleaning up on this purple part, and we might shade in the stick figures, we might not. We're still going to decide whether we're going to do that or not. But this is basically adding the Greco-Persian War to the timeline. So yeah, thank you for watching, and tomorrow. Bye!
It's time to press the subscribe button. Subscribe button. Subscribe button. Subscribe. Bye 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 bye.